You are listening to Station 655, The Minoc, your favorite radio broadcast for the brave soldiers of the Republic. Today's broadcast is dedicated to the soldiers of the 77th Fighter Brigade, taking to the skies over Column 6. We hope for smooth flying, boys, and a safe return back home. Now, here's your host, CT-1586, a.k.a. Slackjack.
And we are back on Station 655, The Minoc, your favorite talk radio program for all the brave soldiers of the Republic. From Coruscant to the far reaches of the Outer Rim, we have thoughts and opinions, and we want to hear from you. I'm your host, CT-1586, a.k.a. Slackjack. After a long, and I mean a long hiatus, it is great to be back for this special broadcast. Our next installment will have plenty of guests and a whole lot of fun and stimulating conversation to be had by all. But today, I'm just happy to be back in the booth and off the Venator for a little while. I'm currently broadcasting from Coruscant, and the nightlife is nothing short of amazing. So, you may be wondering, hey Slack, where have you been? Well, I can't go into details, but needless to say, extended deployment doesn't offer many opportunities for live broadcasts. But through each and every week, I never stopped thinking of all of you out there. I was certain that our numbers would have dropped drastically in the show's absence, but quite the opposite. They've skyrocketed. Thank you all for your continued support. Now, let's dust off the microphone and answer some questions. From Skywalker Academy. Great to have you back, Slack. I salute you for your service to the Republic. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you very much. I salute you right back. Here are my questions. What is it like fighting on the front lines every day? It's never easy. I'll tell you, I don't fight on the front lines quite as often as I used to. But on the days where I am assigned to the front, it's difficult. And it's tough because usually going up to the front lines means you're a younger clone, you got more vigor, more stamina. They're sending you out there because you're the best they've got right away. So it's never easy. We lose a lot of men every day. But we just got to remember why we're fighting. Your next question is, what are your thoughts on the Jedi leading the clone army? I've heard mixed opinions on it. There are people who think it's a terrible idea to have them lead, yet others say it's good. I'm curious on your thoughts as you are a member of the Grand Army. Well, I can only speak to my experience. I know that some in the 501st have, had experiences, mainly with the whole incident with Pong Krell on Umbara. So they might have other things to say, but I've only ever been led by General Kenobi. And General Kenobi is the greatest leader anyone could ever ask for. General Kenobi is someone I would follow to death if I had to. So, me personally speaking from my own experience, I can say I have no problem with it whatsoever. Was there a particular battle that challenged you the most throughout the war? Yeah, Christophsis. I know General Skywalker said something similar when he was on the show, but he also said Geonosis. For me personally, Christophsis, we were just up against so much, and it seemed like all the odds were stacked against us, but again, that's why I put all my trust in the Jedi. When we're on the front lines, the going gets tough. General Kenobi, General Skywalker, Commander Tano, they're always there to see us through. So, even though Christophsis was the one that challenged me the most, I never had any doubt that we were going to make it through. Is there a particular general you have the most respect for? I've heard Generals Anakin Skywalker and Plo Koon are highly respected among all legions, while others are not as respected. Again, personal bias, but I say General Kenobi is the one I respect the most. But I have respect for all of our Jedi generals across the galaxy. General Skywalker, General Plo Koon, General Fisto. Yeah, we have to put our trust in them. We have to show them at least some level of respect. Otherwise, it's not a functioning relationship that you need between troops and the generals. And your last question is, I'm curious, how did you get the name Slackjack? I explained this on a previous entry of the show, but basically, back when I was a shiny, I was what they would call a jack. Basically, we were working on the Venators, and part of our job was to, what they say, jack the gears. Now, I hated this job, did not like being a jack, and so I didn't exactly put my all into it. And so every so often, I'd just hear someone down below yelling, "Quit slacking, Jack!" And so that name just kind of stuck with me, and it's been with me ever since. Slackjack. Thank you for your questions. From Zack Attack. It feels like it's been years since we've heard from you, Slack, and it's great to have you back. Well, I just want to know what's been going on since we last heard from you. Where were you deployed? Again, I can't give any direct details, but I can tell you a few things that happened. Well, old Slack has officially started being, I don't want to say phased out, but they've started giving me less and less field work, which is good, you know. I'm still nursing some injuries, and it's been giving me, on the one hand, it's been giving me more time to, you know, focus on other things, you know, think about what I want to do after the war is over. Some days I miss being out there every single day, but this also gives me time to get my fitness back on track, so it's kind of up and down, back and forth. But needless to say, this most recent deployment required me to don the armor and get out there and do what I do best. I'm still a soldier, after all. Your second and last question is, during the lead-up of the Clone Wars, Chancellor Palpatine was granted emergency powers to deal with the Separatists, and as the years pass, he continues to cultivate even more power, pretty much bypassing the Senate. Some see this as a problem or even a threat to the Republic, but personally, I very much believe in Palpatine's ideas, and if I had to trust anybody with that kind of power, it's him. I have no doubt in my mind he will eventually end this destructive war and bring peace to the galaxy. But what are your thoughts on this? Thanks for answering my questions, Slack. In these dark times, your station is one of the very few lights left in the galaxy for me. You're awesome, Slack. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Thank you very, very much. So, I don't try to talk too much politics. I'll say that in recent years, my trust in the Chancellor has wavered a little bit. But I think that's mainly because I've been seeing so many of my brothers, you know, meet untimely ends during the war. And that kind of stuff just makes you wonder each day, when is it going to end? I think the Chancellor could be doing more. But with that said, I still have a lot of respect for him. I think he's doing everything he can. You know, everything in the Senate gets tied up with bureaucracy and red tape. It's just a nightmare. It's why I would never want to work a job in politics. Thank you for your questions, Ekatek. From Ryan Simmons. Hey, Slackjack. My name is Vivian Ekron. I'm the little sister to Lars Ekron. Oh, we know Lars. He's a temple guard. He's a regular listener of the show. The temple guard doofus who asked me last week. I'm a Padawan. Oh, who asked about me last time? I'm a Padawan, but am a few weeks away from becoming a knight. I have a couple questions. My first question is about Count Dooku. What sort of punishment do you believe is necessary for him and his crimes against the galaxy? I despise the man, but he was once a respectable Jedi. He even trained me somewhat when I was a youngling. He deserves to be punished, but to what extent do you believe he will achieve justice? I'd say that all depends on the Count himself. If he wants to make it easy, chances are they'll show a little more leniency. But as of right now, he's showing no signs of stopping. So, I'm gonna say it doesn't look too good for the Count right now. My second question involves you clones. If you had to choose a vehicle to serve you and your brothers into battle, which would it be and why? You know, I've never been one much for riding around in the tanks and the starships. Me personally, I try to ride the wildlife to any planet we go to. You know, any type of mount they have there. It's always such an amazing experience interacting with the wildlife. You know, sometimes the wildlife isn't exactly friendly, but that's how I like to get around if I can. If not, you know, our speeders, our tanks, our fighters, I'd say a classic LAAT. That's just, it's the most reliable way to get from point A to point B, if you ask me. I appreciate all the hard work you and the clones have put forth, and I am honored to serve by the ones my master and I serve alongside. Well, thank you very much for your questions. From Midnight. Hey, Slackjack. Jedi General Sterling Torwin. I had recently been knighted, and I thought tuning in would be a good way to celebrate. Well, congratulations. I have 2 questions for you. First, have you tried a Ronto wrap from Batuu? I hear they're to die for. Second, what is your opinion on Jedi Master Jaro Tapal? Well, first of all, a Ronto wrap sounds amazing. I have not personally had a chance to try it yet, but I would absolutely love to. That just sounds amazing. Jedi Master Jaro Tapal. I know of him. I have not met him personally. I don't know much about him other than the fact that he seems like one of the Jedi generals I would least like to make angry. So, I'll say that about him. Big fella. Wouldn't want to make him angry. Lot of respect for him as a Jedi general. Thank you for your question. And this one here is from Spade, from the 212th, right here in our own backyard. Spade here. My squad mate Lockett made a bet that if we switched armor, that General Kenobi wouldn't be able to tell us apart. What do you think? P.S. If you happen to see this, General Kenobi, we mean no disrespect. We're just curious as to whether or not it would work. I think you'd have to get up pretty early in the morning to pull one over General Kenobi. I know General Skywalker's made a habit of pulling pranks on him, but us clones, I think it takes a little bit more than switching armor just to fool the General. I think, the Jedi have that whole, the Force, so chances are he'd be able to see right through any ruse. Thank you for your question. Hello again, Slackjack. Commander Watcher again. My question for you. My unit and I have been working with a Jedi Padawan named Takashi Komuro recently, and we've noticed that he actually enjoys the war and doesn't want it to end. What should I do about this? That's a tough question. I'll say this. I've known many men, many brothers, some even in my own division, men who get a kick out of combat. And I will say, there's a certain energy to battle. You can get a certain kick out of it. When the blasters are all flying around you, when everything's falling apart, there's a certain level of excitement, but it's never anything that I want to continue. I usually want it to end as fast as possible. I would say try to talk to Master Yoda and see if he can talk some sense into them, because it's a very dangerous mindset to actually enjoy the war. Thank you for your question. And our last question here is from Deb II. I keep hearing about a Jedi named Ram Koda who uses his own militia instead of a clone squadron. If this is true, then what are your thoughts about him? General Koda, I don't know too much about him. We're kind of kept out of the loop on him. Mainly because, as you said, he doesn't exactly trust us clones. And so, there's some level, I don't like saying this, but there's some level of resentment to that. We've given so many of our lives during this war. What else can we give to show that we're loyal to the Republic? We would never do anything to hurt the Republic. So, on the one hand, I can understand his skepticism. On the other hand, well, there's a bit of resentment there. Thank you all for your questions, and thank you so much for tuning in again. We'll be right back with Sakari Farah and her newest hit, Star Surfing. Stay tuned.